Michael Jordan just took the biggest gamble of his NASCAR career, and it might end up redefining the entire sport. What started out as a contract dispute over charter renewals has spiraled into a full-blown legal brawl, one that pits 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports against the sport's governing body, NASCAR itself. The fight isn't just about money anymore, it's about control, access, and who truly holds the power in American stock car racing. And right now, that power is being challenged in ways the sport has never seen before. At the heart of it is NASCAR's charter system. Think of it as the golden ticket to the Cup Series. If a team holds a charter, they're guaranteed a spot in every race and receive a larger slice of NASCAR's revenue pie. Without it, they're open teams, clawing for position every week and making significantly less money. There are only 36 charters available, and they've become one of the most valuable assets in motorsports. When NASCAR introduced a new charter agreement in 2024, most teams accepted the deal. 13 of the 15 organizations signed on, but Michael Jordan's 23XI Racing, co-owned with Denny Hamlin and managed by longtime business associate Curtis Polk, said no. So did Front Row Motorsports. Their issue? They claimed the new deal was coercive, one-sided, and forced teams to give up their legal rights in exchange for survival. In October 2024, both teams filed a lawsuit against NASCAR, accusing the organization of violating antitrust laws and operating as a monopoly. The legal filing accused NASCAR of restricting teams' ability to negotiate sponsorships, control costs, and independently grow their businesses. It also claimed NASCAR used its power to force teams into exclusive arrangements with certain suppliers and made it impossible to challenge anything without risking expulsion from the sport altogether. NASCAR didn't take it lightly. They fired back with a countersuit in early 2025, accusing 23XI Front Row and Curtis Polk of organizing an illegal cartel, essentially alleging that Polk acted as a ringleader who conspired to destabilize the entire system. According to NASCAR's counterclaims, Polk met with TV executives behind closed doors, pressured other team owners to reject the new charter deal, and floated the idea of a collective boycott to force NASCAR into a better agreement. NASCAR said it was economic sabotage, plain and simple. But that was only the beginning. The lawsuits unearthed a trove of text messages and internal documents that painted both sides in a brutal light. One message from NASCAR President Steve Phelps read, "We have all the leverage," while another from a team executive accused NASCAR of using mafia-style tactics to control the garage. Even Michael Jordan's own texts were dragged into the legal spotlight, including one joking about spending more in a casino than it would cost to sign a driver. But behind the courtroom drama was a real financial nightmare. At one point, 23XI and Front Row were stripped of their charter status, forced to compete as open teams while the case played out. That meant qualifying for every race on merit alone and taking a massive pay cut. Hundreds of thousands of dollars lost per race, millions over the season. To make matters worse, NASCAR redistributed that money to the teams that did sign the deal, giving each charter holder an estimated $1.5 million bonus. In other words, every race 23XI and Front Row ran without a charter made their rivals richer. In December 2024, 23XI and Front Row scored a legal win. A judge granted a preliminary injunction that restored their charter status temporarily, allowing them to compete in the 2025 season with full privileges while the lawsuit progressed. They even negotiated the purchase of 2 additional charters from the soon-to-be-defunct Stewart-Haas racing operation, expanding their footprint and keeping sponsors happy. But that momentum didn't last. In June 2025, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit overturned the injunction, siding with NASCAR and stripping 23XI and Front Row of their charter status once again. The ruling stated that the plaintiffs hadn't proven they were likely to win on the merits of their antitrust claims, a major blow to their case. The timing couldn't have been worse. With only a few months left in the season, both teams were plunged into uncertainty. Drivers, sponsors, and crew members all started asking hard questions. Would they even have a seat next year? Was the team's future secure? And then, in September 2025, Judge Kenneth D. Bell denied a second request to reinstate the charters, arguing that the financial harm wasn't irreparable because NASCAR had agreed not to resell the contested charters and had allowed the teams to continue qualifying based on performance. That legal technicality left 23XI and Front Row stuck in limbo, still racing, but without a safety net. Meanwhile, the rest of the garage was watching closely. Most teams might have signed the charter deal, but that doesn't mean they liked it. Court filings revealed that over 75% of chartered teams reported financial losses during the 2024 season. The economics of running a competitive NASCAR team have never been more fragile, and Jordan's legal push, while risky, struck a chord with other owners quietly fed up with NASCAR's top-down control. Sponsors, too, have started paying attention. If Jordan, arguably the most powerful brand name in sports, is saying the system is broken, that carries weight. But NASCAR isn't showing signs of backing down. Behind the scenes, they've been preparing contingency plans to keep the show running, no matter what. Leaked internal documents, known as the Gold Codes, show that NASCAR even considered running its own fleet of cars if teams walked out, with a proposed $72 million budget just for driver salaries. That's how far they're willing to go to maintain control. As the lawsuit barrels toward its December 1st, 2025 trial date, the pressure is rising. Jordan and Hamlin have brought on heavyweight legal firepower, including attorneys with experience fighting corporate giants like Facebook and Visa, to make their case. They're arguing that NASCAR's entire business model needs an overhaul, not just for their own teams, but for the health of the sport. NASCAR, on the other hand, is betting that the courts will uphold its authority to manage the series however it sees fit, and send a message to anyone else thinking of challenging the status quo. The stakes couldn't be higher. If 23XI and Front Row win, NASCAR could be forced to rewrite its charter system, open up its financials, and give teams more control over their operations, sponsorships, and supplier relationships. It could mean a more transparent, team-driven NASCAR, one where owners have a true seat at the table. But if NASCAR wins, it cements its power for years to come, showing every team in the garage that rebellion comes at a steep price. Michael Jordan hasn't flinched yet. Publicly, he's remained firm, stating that he's willing to fight this to the end if it means creating a more equitable system for teams, drivers, and fans. But the financial reality is brutal. Every race without a charter is lost money, lost leverage, and lost momentum. The teams are bleeding cash, and the longer this drags on, the more difficult it becomes to justify, even for someone with Jordan's deep pockets. Still, the battle lines are drawn. With the trial just weeks away, the future of NASCAR hangs in the balance. Will it remain a tightly controlled system where NASCAR calls all the shots, or will this be the moment that shifts the power back toward the teams? One thing is certain, the sport will never be the same after this. Whether it ends in a courtroom victory or a crushing defeat, Michael Jordan's fight against NASCAR has already changed the conversation and possibly the future of stock car racing in America.